Welcome to Larry the Alchemist, and on today's episode, bands with great lead and backing vocals. We all love a band that has a great lead singer. Kind of a deal breaker for most bands if the lead singer isn't at least good. I always thought it's a cool bonus, getting more for your money if there's more than one lead singer in the band, and I've always dug vocal harmonies. So I think it's really cool when bands add that element to their sound. So I came up with 7 bands that I think have great lead and background vocals. Now, I put in some criteria here for the bands that I'm picking. One, they have to be able to pull this off live. It can't just be a studio creation where they're just overdubbing vocals in the studio and then they don't do it live. I'm going to make another video on bands that don't pull off their vocals live, so I won't get into some of the bands who I knocked out because of this, because it's more of a studio thing and it's not live. There has to be more than 2 people singing. Now, there can be one lead vocalist. I give extra points to bands that have more than one lead vocalist, but there, of course, is one lead vocalist, and there should be at least 2 other people that sing in the band in order to create the vocal harmonies. Now, when I talk about vocal harmonies, what I mean is the lead singer is singing his notes. The other 2 guys are singing different notes than the lead singer. So it's not a situation of what we call gang vocals, where like in AC/DC, where Malcolm and Cliff would walk up to the microphone and they'd all be kind of shouting the same pitches. A lot of bands do this where there's just big kind of shout choruses where everybody's just singing the same thing. So it has to be actual vocal harmonies, guys singing different notes. So for instance, I didn't put Alice in Chains in here because even though the vocals are great, Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell, it's really just kind of the 2 of them, and I wanted a situation where it was at least 3 people singing, where they get that sort of choir, small choir type of sound. And like I mentioned, I'm giving extra points if there's more than one lead vocalist in the band. All right, starting at number 7 for me is Mr. Big. And Mr. Big was kind of what got me thinking of this subject. I saw a video with Billy Sheehan, an interview with him, and he was talking, they were asking him about how in his first band, his early band from Buffalo, Talus, how everybody sang in it. There were a lot of background vocals in that band. And I kind of thought like, wow, yeah, pretty much everything that he's been in, there's a lot of vocals. I could have also put Winery Dogs in here. Mike Portnoy and Richie Kotzen and Billy, they sing great. So let's put Mr. Big / Winery Dogs. We'll consider them both number 7. But Mr. Big, one lead vocalist, Eric Martin, but Paul Gilbert on guitar sings, Billy Sheehan on bass sings, Pat Torpe sings, and they pull it off live. I've seen live videos of them doing, for instance, the song Green Tinted 60s Mind, a song that I love, and they just absolutely hit the harmonies and nail it, and they sound fantastic. So they come in at number 7 for me. Okay, number 6, I don't have any vinyl from these guys, but Extreme. Another kind of 80s, glam, LA hair, even though I know Extreme's from Boston. But lead vocalist situation here, Gary Sharon, but Nuno Betancourt is a great singer also. Think More Than Words, where they're harmonizing in that. But if you hear them live, Paul Badger, the bass player, also sings, and Paul Gary on drums, he also sings too. So they really hit some nice 3-part harmonies. I thought about them because of their appearance at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, where they do a Queen medley, and they just absolutely nail the harmony. I'm pretty sure they do like Bicycle Race, if I remember correctly, and they are just absolutely hitting it, and it sounds fantastic. Okay, this is number 5 for me, kind of from the same era, is King's X. They're a 3-piece. Doug Pinnick, most of the lead vocals. I believe Ty Tabor, the guitar player, he sings some leads too, and Jerry Gaskill on drums chips in on background vocals, and they sound great. They're one of these bands, a 3-piece that creates a lot of sound, and the background vocals are a big part of that. Great harmonies that they pull off live. I saw them on the Monsters of Rock cruise. I'm going to guess this was like 6 or 7 years ago, and they sounded fantastic live, and they really pulled off all those vocals. All right, so that was 5. 4 for me is going to be Uriah Heap. Uriah Heap, when people talk about the early forefathers of heavy metal, the inventors of heavy metal. Martin Popoff always says 1970 with Deep Purple and Rock. The first Black Sabbath album, you could throw Paranoid in there too. That came out in 1970, and Uriah Heap, very heavy, very humble. And for me, what separates Uriah Heap from those other two bands is their background vocals. You've got a lead singer, Dave Byron, who's amazing. Ken Hensley on keyboard is also a lead vocalist, but the background vocals from Mick Box, Lee Kerslake on drums here on this particular record. His background vocals are amazing. In fact, Bob Daisley talks about how when Lee was with him and Randy and Ozzy, when they were working on the Diary of a Madman album, that Lee would sing lead vocals and sing melody lines, and that's how they showed a lot of this to Ozzy. Gary Thane on bass, he also chipped in every now and then. So they're just another band that pulls off great harmony vocals. Okay, we're at 3. And this is a rock band. We're still in the 70s. I did a No Metal Monday on these guys. I think I did this album. I can't remember, but Rick Danko, bass and vocals. He's got this high-pitched falsetto type voice. Levon Helm, the drummer, has a super cool voice. He sang up on Cripple Creek and The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. So the band is somebody that ranks up high here because they have multiple lead singers. Richard Manuel, piano, vocals. He also sings. Robbie Robertson, surprisingly, doesn't sing a lot of leads, but really barely any leads, but he does get in on background vocals. And Garth Hudson on organ didn't sing, but they have great harmony vocals, great lead vocals, where all three of these guys have different kind of unique voices, and when they sort of combine it all together, it gives it a really special sound. Okay, number 2 for me, back to the 70s, but more in the hard rock vein, is Blue Oyster Cult. And Blue Oyster Cult has multiple lead singers. When you first think of Blue Oyster Cult, you think of Buck Dharma, his vocals and guitar, Eric Bloom on guitar and vocals. There's kind of the two main lead guys, but Joe Bouchard sang, Albert Bouchard sang. Albert sang like Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll, for instance. Alan Lanier on keyboards. I don't think Alan sang anything. He might have sang like a lead, I think he has like 1 or 2 leads through their catalog. But live, they pull off the vocals, the background harmonies live, and plus they have all these really cool lead vocalists. Really, Buck, Eric, and Albert carrying most of that load. But Joe Bouchard, for instance, sings Hot Rails to Hell on this record. And so, yeah, filled with lead vocals. In some ways, it might be something that almost held BOC back, that they didn't have a dedicated frontman. I mean, I guess Eric would really be the guy you think when you think who's the frontman of BOC, but they all really sang and sort of split the vocals. All right, number 1 for me, it had to be these guys. I had to go with them. Rock, certainly not a hard rock band, but man, when I think of great vocals in the studio, in live, I think of the Eagles. Glenn Frey, guitar and vocals, lead vocals. Don Henley, drums, lead vocals. Maybe extra special bonus points for a lead singing drummer in BOC. We had Albert Bouchard here. Here we have Don Henley. Randy Mesner and Timothy B. Schmidt, both vocalists that were in the band at different times. Randy Mesner, the first vocalist, and then Timothy B. Schmidt, both singers, both with these super high, really cool voices. Don Felder on guitar and Joe Walsh on guitar. Joe Walsh also sings a really unique voice. And man, did they ever nail the harmonies live, man. I mean, they, to me, are, when it comes to nailing live vocal harmonies and really just having a sound, I think of the Eagles. There's this great video, and man, I don't remember who it's for. They're doing a tribute album for somebody. Is it Warren Zevon? Or I can't remember who it is, but they fly in to do this tribute album for him. I think he's sick, and they're trying to raise money for him or something like that. And they come in, they only have like an hour, right? They come into the studio, and I'm pretty sure it's Glenn, Don, and Timothy B. Schmidt. And they come in, they listen to the track that they're going to sing on, and they walk into the studio, just one microphone. They stand around the microphone, and they just hit it. And it's like this beautiful harmony, and it's the Eagles. You know, it's just, it's right there. So when I think of just some of the best live vocals. They all sound great as lead vocalists. I mean, each one of those top three, Glenn, Don, Timothy, and Randy, those guys could have been Joe Walsh. They could have all been just the vocalist in the band, but they're fantastic lead vocalists. They harmonize incredibly, and it just adds so much to their sound. The vocal harmonies to me are such a big part of the Eagles sound, and they absolutely 100% pull it off live. All right, there you go. Let me know what you think of my picks. There are some people I left out that maybe it's, how come you didn't put in this band or that band? And that's probably because they're going to land on my don't pull the vocals off live video, which I'm going to do at some point in the future. Okay, make sure you like and subscribe. Comment down below. Till we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.